Jinwoo left the scene, wondering what had just happened, while Connor and Norma remained in shock from the immense power they had witnessed. At the Hunters Association, Go Gun-hee sat alone, lost in thought. He was troubled by the recent events, especially the loss of Hunter Min Byung-gu. Although Min Byung-gu had retired, his noble sacrifice during the raid weighed heavily on Go Gun-hee. He realized that the challenges ahead could bring even more sacrifices, and that thought filled him with dread. As he reflected, the loud ring of his phone on the desk snapped him out of his thoughts. When he answered, an urgent voice on the other end informed him of a B-rank gate that had appeared in the middle of the road. Go Gun-hee's eyes widened in shock. A B-rank gate was not something an average raid team could handle. It required immediate attention. While thinking about which major guild to contact, he suddenly remembered that Hunter Sung Jinwoo had recently opened an office near the area. Meanwhile, traffic was building on the road as Jinwoo drove. He was deep in thought, trying to understand what Norma Selner had seen inside him. He knew she had been terrified, but he couldn't figure out exactly what she saw. His phone buzzed, and when he looked at the caller ID, it was Chairman Go Gun-hee. Curious, Jinwoo answered. Go Gun-hee spoke with urgency in his tone. He informed Jinwoo about the gate that had appeared in the middle of the road, causing a major traffic issue. It was a B-rank gate, and Go Gun-hee asked Jinwoo to handle it. Jinwoo was slightly surprised and wondered if he could proceed without proper authorization. However, Go Gun-hee reassured him with a light-hearted remark, reminding him that as the chairman of the Hunters Association, he could grant that authorization himself. Jinwoo couldn't help but smile at Go Gun-hee's playful tone. With the chairman's approval, Jinwoo got out of his car, ready to take on the task. He followed the manor trail leading to the gate. Reporters had already gathered around the gate, and the police were assisting association staff in securing the area. As Jinwoo approached the gate, a staff member stopped him, asking what he was doing. She quickly recognized him as an S-rank hunter, and her shock was evident. The crowd also realized who he was, and excitement spread as they learned he was there to deal with the gate. The staff member told Jinwoo that even as an S-rank hunter, he couldn't enter without proper authorization and a sufficient number of team members. Realizing the situation was getting complicated, Jinwoo immediately called Go Gun-hee. He handed the phone to the staff member and told her to speak with someone she couldn't possibly deny, the chairman himself. With a trembling hand, the staff member spoke to Go Gun-hee and quickly agreed to let Jinwoo proceed. Without hesitation, Jinwoo entered the gate and vanished from sight. But the staff member, still frustrated by the situation, muttered under her breath, wishing Jinwoo would trip and hurt himself. However, her thoughts were interrupted by the crowd's screams. The black surface of the gate suddenly turned blood red. It was a red gate. This sight struck fear into everyone's hearts. The staff member began to panic, wondering if her malicious wish had somehow triggered this terrifying change. Inside the gate, Jinwoo was overwhelmed by a heavy sensation. This wasn't an ordinary gate. It was a red gate, a place where the exit remained closed until the mission was completed. Jinwoo realized he might have to push himself beyond his limits to make it out. He recalled a recent conversation with his mother. She had opened up about her hopes for him, admitting that his awakening as an S-rank hunter was something beyond their control. She reminded him of his father, who had been a firefighter before becoming a hunter. She fell in love with him after seeing him save lives and understood that Jinwoo had inherited the same sense of duty. But she also warned him not to overdo it and to stay cautious. Jinwoo felt comforted knowing that his mother wasn't against his path as a hunter. The battle began as Jinwoo's shadow soldiers clashed with the magical beasts swarming through the gate. Amid the chaos, Jinwoo stood tall, commanding his army with precision. The shadow soldiers were powerful and merciless, tearing through the beasts one by one. Jinwoo realized that a hunter's true enemy wasn't just the monsters. They also had to avoid becoming the hunted themselves. Roles could reverse in an instant, and even the most skilled hunters had to stay alert. With a cold glint in his eyes, Jinwoo surveyed the battlefield. The first wave of enemies had been crushed, but more challenges were on the way. Determined to finish the mission that same day, he moved on to the next target.